Lord Chesterfield's letters to his son, dated Thursday, no date of the month or year, presumably late 1740. Dear boy, you will seldom hear from me without an admission to think. All you learn and all you can read will be of little use if you do not think and reason upon it yourself. One reads to know other people's thoughts, but if we take them upon trust without examining and comparing them with our own, it is really living upon other people's scraps or retailing their other people's goods. To know the thoughts of others is of use because it suggests thoughts to oneself and helps one to form a judgment. But to repeat other people's thoughts without considering whether they are right or wrong is the talent only of a parrot, or at most a player. If night were given you as a subject to compose upon, you would do very well to look what the best authors have said upon it, in order to help your own invention, but then you must think of it afterwards yourself and express it in your own manner, or else you would be at best but a plagiarist. A plagiarist is a man who steals other people's thoughts and puts them off for his own. You will find, for example, the following account of night in Virgil, and he quotes in Latin here, the Aeneid 4, 522 to 528. Here you see the effects of night, that it brings rest to men when they are wearied and the labors of the day, that the stars move in their regular course, and flocks and birds repose themselves and enjoy the quiet of the night. This, upon examination, you would find to be all true, but then upon consideration, too, you would find that it is not all that it is to be said upon night, and many more qualities and effects of night would occur to you. As for instance, though night is in general the time of quiet and repose, yet it is often the time too for the commission and security of crimes such as robberies, murders, and violations, which generally seek the advantage of darkness favorable for the escape of the guilty. Night too, though it brings rest and refreshment to the innocent and virtuous, brings disquiet and horror to the guilty. The conscientious of their crimes torments them and denies them sleep and quiet. You might, from those reflections, consider what would be the proper epithets to give to night, as, for example, if you were to represent night in its most pleasing shape, as procuring quiet and refreshment from labor and toil. You might call it the friendly night, the silent night, the welcome night, the peaceful night. But if, on the contrary, you were to represent it as inviting to the commission of crimes, you would call it the guilty night, the conscious night, and the horrid night, with many other epithets that carry along with them the idea of horror and guilt. For an epithet to be proper must always be adapted, that is, suited to the circumstances of the person or thing to which it is given. Thus Virgil, who generally gives Aeneas the epithet of pious because of his piety to the gods and his duty to his father, calls him Dux Aeneas, where he represents him making love to Dido as a proper epithet for him in that situation, because making love becomes a general much better than a man of singular piety. Lay aside for a few moments the thoughts of play and think of this seriously. And another quotation from Horace, Satire 1, I 27. Adieu. You may come to me on Saturday morning before you go to Mr. Mattery.